So, wanted to talk about why I use Bell Slingshot, Mad Dog, full bore, why I use the Bench Daddy sling, why I also have some Chinese knockoffs, we'll call them, clones, whatever. I think the Americans in this case came up with that product, and the Chinese, figured out a way to make it a lot cheaper. Not necessarily better performance, but still has a lot of the same benefits. Alright, so being older, when I say older, I hit 51 recently. I'd say at age 48, 49, started to notice some things going south as far as my strength goes. Even at 49, I definitely was not as strong as I was at 34 or 43. Somewhere between 34 and 43, I was the strongest I'll ever be. But, age 48, 49, things started to go downhill. No longer, able to crank out 315 for 8, 9, 10 or more reps raw. I think now maybe I could do 3 or 4. That's about as good as it would get. And that's with elbow sleeves. So I'm dealing with, not only the age factor, with the male, testosterone drops off, right? Obviously, there's things that one can do to boost those things. Not really one of the things I want to do at the moment. I think, in a few years I might consider it. So, there's just age counting against us. Now, there's that aspect. Then there's the aspect of injuries. What isn't injured on this body for powerlifting, bodybuilding, whatever, for over 30 years. We have an issue with the right elbow, we have an issue with the right wrist, we have an issue with the right hand, middle finger. We have an issue with our left shoulder trap area. We have an issue with my neck. Got back pain. Had a couple of abdominal surgeries. So yeah, there's as far as the upper body goes, we could also talk about lower body ailments, but those things, factor in to why using a slingshot is a good thing. The slingshot helps with stabilization. It helps with form. And the biggest positive that I can think of is the fact that it alleviates a lot of the pain I feel in the elbow, in the shoulder. Obviously, some people that are using it are using them so that they'll lift heavier weights. So 2 things about that. 1, ego lifting maybe, right? 2, heavier weights get more views on YouTube. If I did a video where I lifted 275 bench press, or I did, 365, or hell, maybe 435 with a slingshot type device, which one do you think is going to get more views? For me, it's usually the equipped version, right? So there's a little of that in there. Do I, do extra videos in there just so I get some views? I probably do. Yeah, I'd say yes, I do. You know, why not do another set of a weight and post it, get, you know, extra views. Depending on the channel, it might, you know, be monetized. It might make some more money, or I might just get more views, more subscribers. That works out. All right. So all these things, you know, so far benefit me physically, benefit the YouTube channel. The one thing really these are designed for is to help one pass push limits. All right. So this is kind of, I think, the last thing. I'll have to rewind the topics and see if I missed any, but just like people doing negatives, you know, people doing half reps from the top, from lockout about halfway down, you are getting your body engaged in a heavier weight. It's getting a feel for, hey, what does this feel like to put 430 on here, right? I had that on there the other day for the flat bench. My body hasn't seen 430 since, I'm thinking, 34 years of age. You know, well before slingshots, and, you know, no elbow braces, a back belt, that's about it, right? So that is kind of how that goes, right? You get the body used to heavier weights a little bit more. Now, additionally, it is helping you lock out, maybe push boundaries. So the Bench Daddy acts like it helps with the lactic acid buildup that you might experience in your triceps, allowing you obviously to do more reps. Well, it's helping you lift an ungodly amount of weight over what you normally would. So let's just look at the slingshot. So at the bottom, you might get a 5% boost in the amount of weight you're using. Those very weak ones would be better for doing push-ups, or for somebody that's more concerned about their form and potentially, you know, helping them relieve some ailment with your shoulder. Now, another aspect would be, you know, the next level up, which would be, so 5% boost, 5 to 10%, you know, that's going to be for people that are lifting lighter weights, whether it's, you know, repping with 225, 250, somewhere in there. And they've got different levels after that. So I'll just do one more example. Mark Bell's Slingshot Mad Dog, which is level 5, is meant for benchers that are doing over 400. Well, that's not me, and that's 400 raw. So I probably shouldn't have bought that, but it has enabled me to take a 350 actual max, 1 rep max flat bench press. It has allowed me to do 385 with the Mad Dog. That is 10%, okay? Now, you would hope with those, they're rated at 10 to 20%. You would hope you would get something closer to 20. Well, why am I not getting 20? One, I don't have a spotter I feel comfortable with, so maybe I get 390, maybe I get 395, maybe I get 400. 385 seen within 10 pounds of what my ultimate max would be with that. Now, that would only put me 12, 13, 14% maybe over my raw. And so I definitely feel like they've helped me, because my first time I did the raw max out, we did, I think, 330. Then we came back, we did 340-ish, and then a month later, 350. Reviewing the bench calculator on some of my lifts, I think it said I had at least 355, 362 would be, depending on which weights you put in. And so, you know, I did 310 this past Friday, was it? Thursday. Raw. Only got 4 reps. I was disappointed I didn't get 5. Had I gotten 5, folks, then we would have, you know, looked at the bench calculator and would have said, okay, you're good for 365. And we probably would have did a 355 and a 3. We'd either did 360 or we did like 357, you know. Just something to say, hey, we're getting stronger. We push the envelope. We don't need to go completely to max. And have a, you know, chance that I'm not going to get the weight back up. I'd rather just, you know, I don't want to say easily get it, but feel like, yeah, there was some left in the tank. We will, you know, do this again at a later time with heavier weights, but still we'll be at 97%, 98% of max, right? Instead of 99.9, I don't know. All right, so over the past few months of, you know, lifting heavier with those things, I've definitely noticed some gains. Now, bring in the bench daddy, which is, in my opinion, at least for the ones I've used, the ultimate sling. I have a 2-ply one that also works as a 1-ply. So far, I've only been able to use the 1-ply because 2-ply is just too stiff. I don't have the right size, which sucks. You know, that added thickness and stiffness means you really can't get your arms out as far on the bar. So we have to come back and get a different one at some point. Now, I have lifted with that. Kind of did a break-in video, right? So I haven't even taken the tag off. I was pondering sending it back. I'm not sure, you know, at this point it's kind of annoying that I've got to pay to ship it back. I had to pay for it to get delivered. I had to pay shipping to have it delivered, I think. In the end, it was, you know, well over $100-some for this thing. And I'm like, it's you guys that freaking gave me bad gouge on the size. Here I am, 6'2", a little over 270. Some mornings I'm 269, some I'm 272. But that falls within their range for large. But the reality is, I think, you know, for suit size, 54 is the last suit I got measured for. I've got pretty big arms. I'm, you know, pretty wide. I have a big back. You know, my biceps are closing in on 19 inches. And so I think in a lot of aspects, maybe they should clarify a little bit of, you know, hey, really it's better if you go measure yourself all the way around the body, or, you know, from the end of the shoulder to the other across your body. I think that would give you a better idea than the way they're measuring by your body weight, right? Because I could be 5'2", 280 pounds, and the one that I need is actually a medium. I could be 6'8", 200 pounds, and the one I need is the XL, and not, you know, medium or large. So I think I am probably need the next one. Now, do I want to pay to send that thing back, and then it shows up and it's like, oh crap, I have the wrong size again, right? Ay. Now, if I want to use this thing over my elbow sleeves, which I'm gonna maybe over a compression shirt, then, you know, maybe I definitely need to upgrade. It's questionable. Take a sip here. So we're driving to go pick up an incline bench, commercial. Got it off the eBay. I hate that website, but I still use it. Some guy put this thing up on auction and then only put it for starting bid $50. So if nobody in the area, and it was local pickup only, if nobody in the area sees it and goes, oh, I want this, you know, somebody like myself can swoop in from really far out of town. Oops, we gotta get over. Somebody like myself can swoop over and grab it like I did. And so we'll have us a incline bench again.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 32.
All right, but getting back to the sling. So the Bench Daddy sling. Now, I may have the wrong size. I could not get 315 on flat bench to touch my chest. Now, 275 on incline because I was able to take a wider grip. That touched, okay? If I remember correctly in the video, there's a video showing that. 315 easily touched my chest. I did 1 rep. I said, okay, let's put more. Then I did, and this is incline, I did 335 incline. I'd never be able to do that raw, I don't believe. And then I did a 355. And I said, this is probably good enough. We don't have the proper, we don't have a spotter. And though I could try it, trying to get it off the rack is difficult when it's, you know, all the way behind your freaking head and over your head. So that sucked. If I had somebody bring the weight out to me, and also had I put my good weight belt on, you know, maybe we do 365. Maybe we could have did 400. I don't doubt that I could do 400 with that thing on the right day, warmed up good with a spotters. You know, need somebody to lift it off. I need my arms in the right spot, and you know, then bring it down. Of course, it's gonna take getting used to that amount of weight. I mean, that's taxing the whole system. I kind of feel like the 355 was going a little overboard. Like I should have, you know, I should have went a little lighter to start. But you know, it is what it is. There's a cop, so I want to shut my light off. And as we passed him, we'll turn the light back on. Oops. Just hit the sunroof. So it's like 32 out. When I left the house, it was 37. Got this big snowstorm coming, and I'm driving up into it, risking my well-being just to get this bench. All right, so I gave you the numbers on Bench Daddy incline. What I didn't tell you is how much did I max out raw. That was the whole point of my video yesterday. We did started off, you know, the bar, then 10 pounds on each side, then 20s on each side, yada yada yada. I got the 135, then 185, then we put 225 on there, and man, I was so sore from flat bench the day before. Eventually we got up to 245, then we did 255, then we did 265, then I did 270. Whatever reason, I was doing 1 reps of each one, making a video, you know, to be released on different channels. Then I do 270. I said, I think I can get 2 reps of this, and lo and behold, I did 2. Of course, people are like, oh, you could have did 5. You should have did, I don't know, 1 more, 2 more, whatever. I'm just like, man, that's a lot of freaking weight on incline for somebody to feel like I actually had that in me. That's a pretty cool feeling. Like I saw something in me that I didn't see. But yeah, maybe I could have got a 3rd rep. Now, if I got a 3rd rep, let's just continue. So we got 2 reps. We didn't get 3. We didn't get 4. Then I said, let me, take the 2 10s and the 2.5 off. I put a 25 on there. It looks more impressive, right? So I do a set with that. Now, I didn't try to do a 2nd rep. If you watch the video, I think I did it pretty easy. But at this point, I'm actually getting kind of tired, It's like, damn, that's a heavy weights. And it is heavy weight for incline. I mean, you don't see that many people in the gym doing 275 inclines. Now, to Golds you might, but most gyms, you don't. Now, Planet Fitness, I'll put 3 plates on there and bang away, and I think I could do 8 reps of that. And who knows if I'm exactly 45, but we're not, a real low incline, so, which would be more flat bench. Now, I did 275. I felt like, this is within 10 pounds of my max. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. So if you do the math, we really did 355 kind of easy. 275, it's a little tired. If I was fresher, really warmed up, but fresher, maybe I get 275 for 2. But then I go back to the bench calculator, so I'm going to go back to 270. 2 reps with the bench calculator says, I think 282 is a max, or 285. And of course, had I have done a 3rd rep or a 4th rep, now you're talking 290 something, 300, whatever, right? Now, there was a day months ago where I had 306 with the Bell Slingshot on the incline, and I couldn't even do that for 1 rep, right? So fast forward, eventually I easily do 315 with the Bell on there for 1 rep, and it had more in the tank. So I give you those numbers so you can see the differences and how much more weight was lifted. Now, where's the thing about that maybe I'm benefiting using a sling versus doing lighter weight with raw. One, I'm having to get used to lifting that weight off the rack, right? I mean, let's face it, folks. Picking 225, 245 off versus getting 315 off of the rack, there's a huge effing difference, okay? And I'm not even done there. So I go from, this was a different workout that we used, the Bell Slingshot Mad Dog. We got up to 315. Yesterday's incline, I eventually said, hey, let me try and do the bench daddy, right? Because that's going to, maybe I can get 400 pound incline with this thing. So it starts off, I'm like putting my arms up, trying to, get a good enough wide grip, and I'm like, nope, this thing, the bar is too low. It's too close to my head. I need the thing higher. So I had to raise it up 1. That always scares me when my arms are almost locked out, and I've got to lift that weight off, because it usually means I've got a narrower grip. But in this case, I was able to spread the bar out, get my middle finger and pointing finger on the ring of the barbell, and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna rock. So I take all the, I had to take all the weight off, put it back on, but I said, let me try 225. 225 with a wide grip doesn't get anywhere near close to touching my chest, but it was still a pain in the ass to get off the pin, I thought. So I actually had to slide up a little and kind of bench press it off. And then we did 275. I said skip the 245, 260, all that crap. So we did 245 and then, or 275, excuse me. No problem. Probably could have did a ton of reps. But I said, our whole goal is maxing out, right? We don't want to do a bunch of reps. What do I do after that, folks? We then went to, I think we went 315. So we're 3-plate banging. And that was awesome, tying my PR for equipped incline, which is not something people track, right? It's kind of stupid, This channel, you're going to see some stupid ego lifting. I think I got some compadres out there that also do, we'll call it ego lifting, It's like there's no contest you're ever going to be in except for trying to, compare yourself to your other weightlifters. And the realistic part of that is those are the only people doing this crap. You might see another channel where some jackass, like my case, some other jackass is using a bench daddy doing incline, and he's put 500 on there just to be, for whatever stupid reason to do it. It gets views, So you'll see more of that dumb shit from me on here. And if I ever get a spotter, Gravestrong, eventually, you and me are going to hook up, or might put up some ridiculous weights. Ideally, I'm going to have to, I think I might have to come down and visit him. Probably going to be months and months from now, but maybe the end of the year. That's how far away. But yeah, come down there. Him and I do. I don't even know how his workout routine goes. We'd have to plan and agree, of course. But ideally, for my sake, I can't do a whole lot of flat. I can't do flat incline in the same day and shoulders. So I would need 2 days of his time. And, if I go down to Atlanta area for a week, maybe hook up at the beginning and then at the end as well, dump the family off and go visit him. I think it'd be fun also to do like I'm visiting a home gym. Jesse James West kind of gave me this idea, but hey, I'm going to see somebody's gym. Let's talk about the equipment you have, your fitness goals. So I have this list of questions I'm going to ask him. Maybe I tell him ahead of time instead of putting him on the spot, because nothing worse than being put on the spot. So I go through some questions. What are your fitness goals? Blah blah blah. Talk about his home gym, his equipment, the weights he has. I get to actually see those weight plates that I was talking shit about. No, if you haven't seen Gravestrong's channel, he's got all kinds of different size looking plates. And I'm always like, I just want 45s on there. I don't want to do 45, 35, 25, 10s, 5s. Give me the biggest plate I can put on there. Keep that mass looking like it's right over my body, though the reality is the center of mass is, no matter how many plates I put out there, as long as they're the same plates on both sides. The center of mass is right in the middle. Now I could put much fatter 45s on the right, and so they're way out to the right and the thin ones on the left. And I have actually put my center of gravity, not over the center. So that would kind of suck to do that. And it's possible to screw something up like that. So we still have over 2 hours on our drive. All right, so Bench Daddy. Eventually, I get to a 355. All right, and it was pretty freaking easy. I gotta say, getting it off the rack, not easy. Putting it back on the rack was not too bad because my arms were, that thing kept my arms locked out. One thing that I'm concerned about is that heavy weight. Am I gonna F up my shoulders? That is probably the biggest concern. All right, so from the Mad Dog, we figure if our max truly was 350 on flat, and some would argue, yeah, you're probably capable of doing 355. The bench calculator says that. And some of the measurements it said 362, I think. So, we might have to redo this math, but the fact is, I've only done 350 raw over 50. Okay. It wasn't two and a half years ago. I was in Hawaii, bench press competition, or a running one, we'll call it. Like, you weren't actually, everybody wasn't there at the same time competing, but I did 360 there. So that was pretty good. Recently, this place I work at, it's got a gym. They did a competition. I would have been a solid first place, even with that low number. And if they had a masters group, I would have taken the whole thing, I'm sure. But all right, so there we are. Figured out 350. Mad Dog, we did 385. Could I have did more with the spotter? Probably. But let's say, 10% boost, all right? Now, you have also the Bench Daddy, which is, like I said, the king of these things. I did 430. We haven't released that video yet, but, or have we? Actually, I think, we dropped 430. That's 80 pounds over the 350. And that honestly was not the most I could have done. I know if I had a spotter, if I could just get the weight off the pin, we had a 440 in us, we probably had a 450. Could I had a 460? I don't think so. Could I work up to a 460? Yeah. 10 more pounds of strength on raw might mean 10 more pounds with the Bench Daddy, or me building up 10 more pounds of strength on the Bench Daddy might correlate to a stronger raw. But let's just say, because all we have to go by is the 430, 80 over 350, folks. I don't have a calculator on me, but let's try and interpolate that, okay? Those that have done math, higher level math. If I maxed out at, let's see, 400, or excuse me, not 400. If I maxed out at 320, 80 pound increase over that would be 25%, okay? If I maxed out, and I'm trying to find another number, 400, 80 pounds over that would be, actually, hang on, did I do this right? 320, 80 over 320 is 25%. If I maxed out at 400, 80 over that is goes into that 5 times, so that's 20%. So, we are looking at somewhere between 20 to 25% gain. That's definitely better than the Mad Dog, all right? Now, some could argue, oh, you probably would have got 450. That'd be 100 pounds. 100 over 350 is 2/7, which comes out to about 29%. That is a major gain, folks. Wow. That would be heavy duty. All right, so, why am I doing this video in the vehicle? I got to kill time, and I like making my videos. I need more watch hours. I need more subscribers, folks. So, in summary, we're going to end this video. What did I get out of using so far these Slingshots in Bench Daddy? My arms have fucking gotten huge, folks. I mean, if you've seen my taking the pump cover off after a good pump and the lighting's right, holy jack motherfuckers, I look good, right? I'm not gonna lie about that. The arms look incredible. Like, I definitely have no problem walking around in a tank top, sleeveless shirt, showing those fuckers off, right? Now, sometimes the lighting, because I'm so pale, makes me look like a big old fat ass, but whatever. When the lighting's right, it's like, oh, wow. Wife makes comments and notices that I know everything's, not bad. We're going to eventually slim up, and so some of these gains are going to eat them battlefields up here. Holy smokes. I wish I had more time. I have a feeling Gettysburg is probably not too far away from here. All right, so that wasn't one of the things I really wanted to talk about, but, getting stronger, yes, we've hit that, right? Getting used to heavier weight, yes, we've done that. We've protected our shoulder and our elbow quite a bit, but we've also, because of the heavy weight, probably, feeling a little bit more in our wrist and hand, feeling some kind of, difference in the shoulders, kind of I don't want to call it a new pain, but it definitely feels different up there. If I took, probably it's almost time to take a little time off. Now, one thing we didn't talk about is how frequent to do this stuff. I think once a month, maxing out, or 97, 99% of max, not actually maxing out. Like, we don't want to fail. I don't believe, Sam Sulik's training is so great. If you're not on steroids and you're not 26 and you don't have a spotter, if you're using a Smith machine and you can stop it, hey, for crushing you. But, once a month, maybe doing that, once every other month, or, somewhere between 4 to 8 weeks, doing some kind of max out is probably not that bad. Now, if you're competing, obviously take that into account. So what do you do on the other weeks? Well, you're lifting heavy, and in my opinion, let's say you've got good shoulders, you've got good elbows. Maybe your form kind of sucks. Maybe you're concerned about going heavy and hurting your shoulder or elbow. Slingshot's probably not a bad thing to get into the habit of using. You could potentially, build strength, right? You're getting the body used to heavier weights. And so I feel like it has been a big benefit for me. If I had to always do these heavy sets raw, and I felt agony, eventually I'm going to be like, okay, we're dropping weight, keep dropping weight, and now I'm not pushing myself, okay? But what we want to do is also have goals. So I like my plan. Some would argue, Tommy and Jude would argue with me, but and I definitely agree with him on a lot. He's taken his weightlifting beyond where I have when I was fresh and young, and where I am, you know, we're almost the same age. So, getting back to what I was saying, the goals I think are going to be each week to do different reps, different weights. Now I've been slowly each day, each bench press day, I'll go in, I'll warm up. I start with the bands. I use light weights. Now that I have the Signature Fitness belt squat, I'll actually do some rows. I can do shrugs with it. Of course, I have the dumbbell rack and barbells, but it's mighty convenient, easy to add weight on it, okay? So I will use that. I'll warm up, and you know, things will be looking good from that aspect. We'll get 135 on there, then maybe 185, 225. This last time I think we shot up from 225 to 275, or we might have did 245, but you know, and then it was like, okay, what I feel like is my first real lift is going to be 310. Now, keep in mind, doing this first set where I'm pushing myself, trying to get 5 reps of 310. I've also somewhat wore myself out for the later stuff, but we only got 4. We didn't get 5. If I could have got 310 for 5, we would have saw according to the bench calculator, my nose is bugging me, we would have saw our max calculation go up to 362, 365 range. That would have been good. I think right now it's at 355. I want to see it turn over to 360 before I go, okay, we'll max out again, because that max out's going to be a 355 or 357. If it's saying I can do 365, I'm not doing 360. I'll do something less than that, okay? So maybe we start with 352, then we do a 357. Regardless, I've just pushed the PR number higher. I'm also separating myself from Gray Strong. Bragging rights, right? So, where do we go from there, though, folks? 350, 350-ish. Then we start working with our Mark Bell. You know, maybe we do a 315 banger set, a 320. This is what I'd like to do, actually.